Hello and welcome to MediaNama. A recent controversy over objectionable statements made by influencer and podcaster Ranveer Allahbadia has snowballed into a call for government censorship over online content creators, with some media reports claiming that the government was considering creating a code of ethics for influencers. According to a report by Informist Media, the code could potentially require digital creators with over 50 lakh followers to undertake age based classification of their content and provide disclaimers where appropriate. The problem started with Alabadia, who made an allegedly inappropriate comment in a YouTube comedy show, earning him widespread criticism from various quarters. This included Shiv Sena UBT MP Priyanka Chaturvedi, as well as National Human Rights Council member Priyank Kanungu, who wrote a letter to Google asking them to take down the video. The video was in fact eventually taken down from the YouTube platform following a notice from the government. Allahabadia's legal troubles did not stop there, however, as both the Guwahati and Mumbai police forces filed separate FIRs against them and the comedy show creators Samay Raina. The Guwahati police went a step further and also named a number of other influencers who were actually only present at the show. The Guwahati police filed cases under Section 79, 95, 294, and 296 of the Bharatiya Nyaya Samhita, which deal with insulting the modesty of a woman, hiring a child to commit an offense, the sale of obscene material, and public obscenity, respectively. The police also cited Section 67 of the Information Technology Act, which criminalizes the transmission of obscene material. Sections 4 and 7 of the cinematograph were also cited in the FIR, which restrict the unregulated public exhibition of certain films. The police also used Sections 4 and 6 of the Indecent Representation of Women Prohibition Act 1986, which penalized the distribution of material showing a quote unquote indecent representation of women. The Supreme Court was also of minimal help to Allahabadia. While it granted him some interim relief from arrest, it refused to club the FIRs together and warned him to not perform any more shows or post any other content. The judges also instructed Allahabadia to cooperate with the investigation. While Allahabadia's counsel informed the court that he had received numerous threats since the controversy, the judges refused to consider these threats as grounds to grant relief. Notably, the court also asked the center to consider regulating obscene content on YouTube and other social media platforms, accusing YouTubers of misusing the space. The judges stated that they would not allow such a quote vacuum and barren area unquote to persist. Giving a seeming response to the Supreme Court's demand, the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting, or MIB, reminded over the top or OTT platforms to adhere to the code of ethics prescribed under the Information Technology Rules 2021 and ensure self regulation through industry bodies. The MIB's advisory noted that the ministry had received complaints from multiple parliamentary representatives, statutory organizations, and public grievances concerning the alleged spread of obscene, pornographic, and vulgar content by certain publishers of online curated content and social media. Even Maharashtra Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis weighed in on this issue, calling for a set of rules governing content on social media platforms. He stated that the state government was in touch with the central government to discuss the possibility of establishing obscenity regulations for social media content. In an article for MediaNama, Priyanka Chaturvedi argued that online content made by influencers was becoming alarmingly more explicit, with algorithms that pushed viral content to users regardless of their preferences. She accused content creators of exploiting the right to freedom of speech without considering the consequences or the impact on society. Such conservative backlash against social media creators and comedians is not new. In fact, it reminds one of a very similar incident from 2016 when comedy troupe All India Bakchod or AIB held a swear word laden celebrity roast show in Mumbai, leading to widespread condemnation and even police action. The threat of government action against online content is interesting as the executive's options against allegedly obscene content on the internet are actually somewhat limited. While Article 19(2) of the Indian Constitution allows the government to restrict the freedom of speech for a number of reasons, including obscenity and public morality, these last two provisions are actually missing from Section 69 of the IT Act, which allows the government to remove online content. So now the question is, what exactly was the justification that the government used to have the video removed? YouTube did not reveal that in their response to MediaNama's queries. Looking at the Guwahati police's FIR is also interesting, as the police actually used sections 4 and 7 of the Cinematograph Act, which actually is about requiring CBFC certification before releasing a film. The calls from public representatives for content restrictions are actually quite concerning, as they could empower the government to censor content they dislike, even for political reasons. At the same time, some state governments want social media influencers on their side. Last year, the Uttar Pradesh government announced a scheme to pay influencers that promote schemes and programs initiated by the government. Conversely, creators who post anti national, obscene, or otherwise inflammatory content would face legal action. Terms like anti national or obscene are vague and dependent on interpretation. If the executive restricts so called obscene content, but is also in charge of defining obscenity, we might end up in a situation where governments use the term as a tool to censor public dissent. The controversy over Ranveer Allahbadia's comments has quickly escalated from a case of individual accountability to a larger debate on content regulation in India. While the calls for stricter rules on social media creators aren't new, they highlight an ongoing struggle between free expression, public morality, and government intervention. The Supreme Court's remarks, coupled with the MIB's advisory and pressure from political figures, suggest that India might be heading towards stricter oversight of digital content, especially for influencers who want to push the envelope. The broader question here is, where does one draw the line between necessary regulation and excessive control? While concerns about obscenity and public morality are often cited as justifications for regulation, they can also become a means to curtail free speech in ways that disproportionately impact independent creators. Unlike traditional media, social media gives individuals a platform to challenge dominant narratives, often making them targets of political and legal scrutiny. The increasing push for a code of ethics or a set of rules covering so called obscene content on the internet raise concerns about whether such rules will be fairly applied or weaponized against vices that challenge authority. If the government continues down this path, India's digital landscape could see a chilling effect, with creators forced to self censor out of fear of legal repercussions. As we move forward, it will be crucial to track how these regulatory shifts unfold, and what they mean for digital speech, creativity, and independent media in India. Thank you for watching. For more tech policy content, please subscribe to MediaNama.